Technology is always evolving. New CPU, new graphics card, and new games coming out demanding higher specs. And I know it's hard to keep up, reminding us that we need to spend more money on our current gaming computer. Probably your solution will be to throw your computer out to the garbage, but there is no need of doing that when I have 5 ways to make your computer faster. Sometimes we're limited on physical space in a room. Having a desktop computer, speaker, and our clothing, all these things do matter for a gaming computer. Where we place the computer in a room plays a huge factor. Having your desktop on a carpet floor can concentrate more heat inside of the case, leading to higher temperature for the internal parts of the computer and having a negative performance when it comes out for running video games. In situations like this, I recommend putting the computer on a desk where there is no obstruction to the bottom fans or the rear fans. One of the worst enemies of an old gaming computer is the dust. Dust can clog the computer fans, obstructing the airflow inside of the case. The dust can hide very deep inside of the case and even engrave on the components. In order to solve this issue, I recommend the following steps. Removing all the panels and the dust filters. Taking out the RAM, graphics card, get an old toothbrush, a paintbrush, an air can. If you don't have an air can, you can use an air compressor, a blower duster like this. Now, by having these tools, you can remove very thick engraved dust. The paintbrush will help to reach difficult spots and to avoid any damages to the components. The air can help with the removal of the dust a lot faster and easier. Heat is great for the winter, but not for an old gaming computer. But what can we do if we already remove all the dust inside of the computer? We're applying thermal paste to the CPU and the graphics card. The CPU and the graphics card are the two main components that do most of the task when gaming. High temperatures can lead to the computer to power off, the component degrading over time, and lastly, very slow performance. Replacing the thermal paste on the CPU is very simple, as removing the old thermal paste with rubbing alcohol and putting a very small amount of thermal paste. For the graphics card, this is more advanced and riskier to damage the component, and it actually voids the warranty, so be careful taking it apart. The process is the same as putting just new thermal paste and in some cases thermal pads. Another way to make your old gaming computer run faster is by updating drivers and system updates. In my case, I've been using my old gaming computer for almost 7 years. I have always been on top of updates for the system and drivers. To do this, you can verify the manufacturer's website of the hardware and download the updates and utility software. For example, I have a MSI 1660 Ti graphics card, and every month nvidia releases a new driver throughout their software GeForce Experience. Updates can also be applied to Windows by simply searching for the updates under settings or just searching for updates in the start menu. Applying the system and driver updates helps me to improve the gaming performance on new games and prevent known bugs. The last way to improve the performance of an old gaming computer is by using game optimization through a software and overclocking. Since new games demand more specs and power, our computer might have difficulties to run these games properly. There is software with new technology that allows a graphics card to have a better FPS on games. Examples of this software technology are AMD FSR and nvidia DLSS. This software technology allows image enhancement and upscaling with the current specs of the graphics card. Another way to improve the performance is by using the game optimization software provided by the graphics card manufacturer. Software like this can be nvidia GeForce Experience and AMD Adrenalin. The good thing about this tool is that you don't have to optimize every game, because this tool will analyze the specs of the computer and adjust the setting for this game. Last but not least, overclocking. Overclocking can be achieved by increasing the power and the performance of the components. Most of the components can be overclocked, such as the RAM, CPU, and the graphics card. I recommend reading a guide from the manufacturer and professionals before doing overclock, because you can damage and decrease the life of the hardware. For example, some RAM manufacturers provide a base clock speed for the RAM and a max, which can be obtained by setting the RAM at a higher frequency in the BIOS. Same case goes for the CPU. CPU speed can be increased for better performance. The only thing that you will need to know will be the max speed allowed or recommended by the manufacturer. A lot of manufacturers bring a built-in feature in the BIOS to overclock the CPU, which can be turned on by a single click. The graphics card can also be overclocked by software such as NSI Afterburner. More power can be squeezed out of the graphics card by giving it more energy. Just remember to play with the settings depending on the speed and power consumption of the graphics card to avoid any damages. Now you don't have to get rid of your old gaming computer because using these techniques will improve the performance of the components. Just remember placing your computer on a desk to avoid any blocks on the fans, removing the dust, updating the drivers along with the system updates, reapplying thermal paste, and overclocking can increase the performance way more. That's the video for today. If you have any questions or tips on how to make your old gaming computer faster, leave it in the comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe. Doing this will help me to bring more videos like this for you. That being said, see you in the next video.